Good evening. Today we will discuss two key factors that are important to developing literacy. They are phonological awareness and phonemic awareness. Phonological awareness lets kids recognize and work with sounds in spoken language. In preschoolers, it means being able to pick out rhyming words and count the number of syllables in a name. It also involves noticing alliteration, how sounds repeat themselves. So, phonemic awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate individual sounds, which is known as phonemes, in spoken words. Phonemic awareness includes the ability to separate a word into sounds that make it up and blend single sounds into words. It also involves the ability to add, subtract, and substitute new sounds in words. So, how does phonological and phonemic awareness relate to literacy development in young children? We know that a student's skill in phonological awareness is a good predictor of later reading success or difficulty, but both skills are very important and tend to interact in reading development, but they are distinct skills. Children can have a weakness in one skill and not have one in the other. Research states that more than 1 in 3 American children start kindergarten without the skills they need to learn to read. Reading, rhyming, singing, and talking influence literacy and language development, which are the foundations for all other learning. These skills should start at birth. So, in order to do that, developing these early literacy skills makes it easier for children to learn to read. Children who enter school with these skills have an advantage that carries them throughout their school years, and children should be introduced to reading early. It will also lead to children being able to read earlier and excel in school compared to children who are not exposed to language and books at a young age. So, when it comes to phonemic and phonological awareness, there are some early literacy skills that need to be introduced to pre K students, such as print concepts, lettering naming, vocabulary, phonological awareness, listening, speaking, and comprehension. And I'm going to give you a few suggestions on some activities that may help increase a child's reading development in pre K. And these activities may be very beneficial. When it comes to print concepts and you introduce a book to your students, you may want to hand them the book to see if they actually handle the book the proper way. If they're holding the book correctly, which is right side up and ready to read, also teachers should track with their finger when they're reading to demonstrate how the children should read from left to right. I have found this very useful with my students, and I noticed that they have started tracking with their own fingers reading left to right. With letter naming, we review the alphabet daily with my children, and I make sure that we go through being able to recognize and name uppercase and lowercase letters. That's very important that they know that in order to know how to form the letters when they get ready to write. With vocabulary, we have been playing a game in class, such as finding a synonym for different words. For example, I would give them the word frustrated and use it in a simple sentence. After using it in a simple sentence, I would give them 2 to 3 word choices to choose from what is a synonym for frustrated. And we will go through that and play that game. Speaking, I would have them read the alphabet with punctuation marks. So I would introduce a period, exclamation mark, and a question mark, and they would have to read the alphabet. For example, I have A, B, C, period, D, E, F, G, H, I, and this will show students how to use expression when reading aloud and speaking. For comprehension, I use a skill where I read to my children daily, and while reading aloud to my students, I will ask questions as I read. The questions range from prediction questions, higher level thinking questions, and simple questions. It is important to have a range of questions so they will use those thinking skills. Also, you may have the students draw a picture of what they think the book was about after having a group discussion. Lastly, you can have a couple of your students retell the story in their own words. For phonological awareness, we have been working on rhyming words. So you would play a game with them showing where the onset will change, but the rhyme stays the same. For example, the teacher may start the game by saying, I have a word, and the word I have is rat. What word do you know rhymes with rat? And they may give you the word sat. And then you would want to go into discussing what the onset R changed to in order for them to come up with the rhyming word sat. And lastly, we have listening. For younger learners, a great way to develop the skill is to play Simon Says. See if they can listen to what you're asking them to do and see if they can complete it. Also, I have found that giving my students the opportunity to complete simple tasks in the classroom as far as their daily routine has helped them to listen better and use my keywords to go do what they have to do. Lastly, you could present 3 to 4 picture cards to the students and see if they can listen to a short story or a sentence and choose the correct picture card that goes along with that story or sentence. All of these are great ideas and will help to increase their development in reading, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.